Well, there was another victory in the 2A world, and we are going to get into it right now. So stick with me, and I'll be right back. I think, maybe. Yeah, I will be. Welcome, everyone, back to the channel. My name is John Crump, and this is John Crump News, where you can get your 2A every day. On this channel, I report on 2A issues, the good, the bad, and the in between. And this is a good decision that's going to have wide ramifications for everyone that is in Minnesota. Okay, so there was a case going through Minnesota. In Minnesota, there is a state law that says that you have to have a serial number on your PFMs, privately manufactured firearms, such as the P80s, 3D printed, whatever. You have to have a serial number. Now, there was a case that worked its way all the way up to the Minnesota Supreme Court, which is the highest state court, and this is a state case, so this is as high as it will go. And it is the state of Minnesota versus Logan Vagel. Mr. Vagel, I'm going to call him Logan, was arrested for having a privately manufactured firearm without a serial number. He claimed that under Minnesota Constitution that his gun did not have to have a serial number. Basically, what happened on Valentine's Day in 2022, the Minnesota State Police pulled him over, and well, he rolled his car over, so Minnesota police showed up, and inside they found a AR that was built from a 80% lower receiver with no serial number, with a magazine, and a Glock 19 style firearm with no serial number. Both of these guns were made by him. He was charged with felony possession with a firearm, having firearms without serial numbers. And he appealed, stating that he did not have to have a serial number, no matter what Minnesota state law says, because it violated the Minnesota Constitution. Now, this isn't the U.S. Constitution, this is the Minnesota Constitution. He appealed all the way up to the Minnesota Supreme Court. The Minnesota Supreme Court ruled on this and stated that only time a gun needs a serial number is to comply with federal law, which it does not need to have a serial number if it is manufactured by you through via 3D printing or using like a kit, like a P80 kit or whatnot. They stated that the state's law that says that privately manufactured firearms have to have serial numbers is unconstitutional under Minnesota law because it's vagueness. Minnesota tried to argue that it is well-settled law that the court should not reach. Basically, they said that I'm almost read the wrong thing there. Basically, they said that it applied to everything, but the Minnesota Supreme Court says otherwise, and it does not have to have a serial number unless he's making it to resell it. Now, if he was going to resell a gun, it would require a serial number. The state tried to argue that that didn't matter, that it needed a serial number no matter what. The Supreme Court ruled that if you look at the GCA of 1968, you only need to have a serial number if you're selling it for a profit, such as being in a business, if you're importing it, or whatnot. The GCA says nothing about having a serial number on a firearm that you are not manufacturing to sell, privately made firearms. And the Minnesota Supreme Court said since this guy clearly was not doing it to sell it, that he did not commit any crime, which is good. So, yeah, that that's really good. They even cited the ATF, who said that you're allowed to make firearms without serial numbers if it is for personal use. They brought up a lot of different case law here, some state, some federal. They even brought up Vanderstock, which said that Vanderstock was a bad ruling to the Supreme Court, but at least they acknowledged that you don't need a serial number if you're making it at home. So because of this, they went ahead and they let this guy off, and he is walking now. There is another issue that we have to look into. There's been a lot of people charged in Minnesota with having so-called scary ghost guns, privately manufactured firearms without serial numbers. And now this gives every one of those people that were charged, some were even convicted, a way to appeal their conviction, and they should be able to get off. No court in the land will be able to overrule the Minnesota Supreme Court. No court in the land of Minnesota, land of lakes. So there's a bunch of people that are hemmed up right now for having unserialized firearms. Those cases, I would suspect, will probably be dropped, and anyone who was convicted of having a firearm without a serial number in Minnesota will probably get a pass and get out of jail and get their charges reversed. This only applies to Minnesota, so don't get excited if you're in Massachusetts or whatnot. This is just in Minnesota. But as of right now, I don't see how they can prosecute anyone for having a gun without a serial number in Minnesota if it's privately manufactured. Now, if you take a firearm and you obfuscate the serial number that's already on there, that's going to be a different case. So, this is a win for the Second Amendment. Honestly, I believe that no firearm should have to have a serial number whatsoever. I think you should be able to buy them without serial numbers directly from anyone, anywhere. Land O'Lakes. Thank you, Xanthi Misfit, for that. You brought a smile to my face. All right, just wanted to bring this to your guys' attention because it is kind of a big deal if you're in Minnesota. And I was just in Minnesota like a week ago, passing through at least at the airport of Minneapolis, St. Paul. But yeah, but we're gonna have to see what is going on. But this is another victory, and what's really funny is the anti-gunners are already screaming about it. 97%, which is some dumbass anti-gun websites already crying about it, and all the anti-gunners in Minnesota is crying about it as well, saying that they're reversing law that could save lives. Blah 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 blah. You know what? If a criminal wants a gun, he's gonna get a gun, and if it has a serial number and he doesn't want a serial number on there, he will obfuscate that serial number because that's how criminals work. They don't obey the law. I don't understand why that is so hard for the people on the anti-gun side to understand. But with that said, that's it. Just wanted to make a video to let you guys know. And also, I got a Patreon. I got the locals and a bunch of ways that you can help support the channel. I will not be at goals this weekend. DLD After Dark is already down there, and so is Flying Rich. They are setting up their booths. I'll be going out of the country in a couple days, 2 days, in fact. So I will see you guys later. I might uh, broadcast from somewhere out of the country. I don't know. But that is it. All right, guys. Love you guys so much. And with that, we are out of here. Be sure to check out Gideon Optics. They're not sponsoring this video, but they do make a great product. All right. Bye.